Well, yes, it's like, as if I follow this quote itself, it's not just limited to men. It's
Hmm.
also limit. It's not limited to men. It's like for everyone. It's like
Hmm.
women are fighters too.
Yes.
Like
Hmm.
that's right. There's a whole
Hmm.
feminist movement. Read
Hmm.
about it. So,
Hmm.
and it's, I get it. कि मतलब we literature people, when we come to know feminist movement, we see like people like Jordan Peterson, where they belong in this whole matrix and everything, and we get to see and everything. But that's probably a different conversation. But at the same time, it's like fighting for it. Like,
Hmm.
fighting is base instinct of human, be
Hmm.
it man, woman, or
Hmm.
LGBTQ plus.
Hmm.
It's basic. It's basic.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have to fight for it. And as disappointing as it sounds, कि मतलब you don't expect for results, but then again, like I said before, hope for something,
Hmm.
because in that hope you're creating something for someone else,
Hmm.
even for yourself.
Hmm.
So just fight where your heart belongs.
Correct. Correct. Got it. Good. So I also had some rapid fire questions kind of thing. I had prepared them especially for you. So maybe we can
Sure,
just
sure.
start, like you can take the length of time that you think is apt to do justice by it, right? So the first one is of course something you'll figure out. So like, do you have a quote you live your life by or think of often?
I don't live by a particular quote as such, but I like reading. Like
Okay.
I like reading. So whatever quote fits me in the situation, I follow as much as it. I not like follow, but like try to implement it
Okay.
as much as possible.
Some quotes which might have deeply hated you on a personal level.
Uh, I can't remember many, but there's this one quote that I just recently watched from this show WandaVision, and it's a very famous quote from that show. And it's like, "What is grief but love persevering?"
Okay.
Right. So
Hmm.
it's like that is a really beautiful quote, and that's something that that can help people to overcome any sort of grief that they have in themselves.
Hmm. Agreed. Agreed. Totally agreed. I think it's a very deep quote as well because it helps you मे बी सस्टेन एक लेवल पे जस्ट थ्रू हार्डशिप्स क्योंकि ग्रीफ पे भी आप एक लेवल
Hmm.
पे एक हार्डशिप के थ्रू जाते हो राइट एनी हाउ
Exactly.
द सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज लाइक something which requires your opinion so like what is the worst advice you see or hear like being dispensed in the world around or in your world specifically.
The worst advice is, in a nutshell, it's like, be with the system,
Hmm.
be with the where the people belong.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, I get it, we are social animals, but that does not mean
Hmm.
that you have to kill your individuality for it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I guess that's something we should, inculcate in ourselves.
Hmm, got it. Yeah, I think that's totally understood. I was kind of expecting it was coming, but yeah. So now I think this is more of a cliche kind of thing, but like I wanted to include this. So like, what advice would you give to your 20, 25, or 30-year-old self? And like, please place where you were at that time and what you want to do. Like where you are at that time and what do you want to do?
I hope by 25, 30 years, I hope that I am in some, at least a medium big shots in entertainment industry or something, creating some great art or something.
Hmm.
And probably even to myself as of now, and
Hmm.
even then, I will just say, keep believing in yourself against all odds, because you know what the best is for yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Always be receptive of everything that
Hmm.
goes around you, but
Hmm.
you have to be the critical thinker of your own self, because that
Hmm.
will decide what you want to.
Agreed. Agreed. Cool. So I think just a follow up to kind of it, if we look at in hindsight on the life that you have lived, right? Like how has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success, and or do you have a favorite failure of yours?
My favorite failure, my favorite failure, I guess, would be to, just I it is like failing in maths.
Okay.
It's like it's like it that and failing at maths and failing my coaching classes experiences for
Hmm.
UPSC and MBA, because those really put myself in more tune to myself as a person from literature, because it gives you the hit anyway. It gives you that jerk anyway ki,
Hmm.
you have to be some good at something, and
Hmm.
what best to place to be good at something which you already are inclined towards.
Hmm.
So that's one way. And failure is very important. Without failure, I don't think there's any success. It's yin and yang.
Hmm. Agreed. Agreed. Dude. So, also, okay, just to follow up. So, what do you believe that is true, even though you can't prove it?
I don't think there is anything true, or I also believe everything is true.
Hmm.
I read in Siddhartha by Herman essay
Hmm.
recently that I guess be like a river,
Hmm.
because everything that the river experiences is true, even if it's not true to someone else.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
So, right. It's like, even if we consider this whole point of fake news and whatnot, जो भी या propaganda है जो भी,
Hmm.
what या फिर कुछ भी और चीज ले लो, gossips ले लो या कुछ भी ले लो, anything in your
Hmm.
life that you consider in the lens of few true or false.
Hmm.
What I believe about it is कि simply because just something exists, even as an idea, it is true, because it may not be true to you, but it is true to someone else,
Hmm.
and everything that exists is true. And so the only way to get out from it is critical thinking,
Hmm.
obviously, but
Hmm.
uh, it's like you cannot say कि यहाँ पे ये चीज नहीं होती तो ये गलत है या फॉल्स है या एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती या फिर नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट है, बट कहीं और वो चीज है तो मतलब वो ट्रू है. It's not
Hmm.
like that. It's like that we need to understand the coexistence is possible because everything is true.
Correct. Hmm.
That's one way we can probably, you know, on a macro level, we can probably, solve wars की
Hmm.
situation, because one country thinks कि मतलब उस country की culture या people या चीजें are not supposed to be there because that's false or something, या कुछ और culture is false,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that tries to overpower it, so wars happen. But if we just exist, we take this thing कि everything is true, so everything can coexist,
Hmm.
right? So I think everything is true.
Agreed. I think वो ये कि जितने आप perspectives ले पा रहे हो और उसको experiment कर पा रहे हो in a nutshell, right? That is where you'll
Right.
find your own
Critical
truth.
thinking.
Yes, I think that is where you will find your own truth. So, like, just one or two questions before I move into some other topics I have. So, like, I know you'll have a lot of favorite documentaries or movies, right? But some documentaries or movies that have deeply hitted you in personal life and, like, you'll like to recommend to others.
This is this recent documentary that I just saw, 14 Peaks,
Okay.
if on Netflix. It's Nibs Daipurja's recent, almost recent feat of summiting all the 8,000 plus mountain peaks in 6 months. That's the
Hmm.
spoiler for you, but that's also a fact. So
Okay.
like
Hmm.
how he did it is great. And I guess as for movies and books, I don't think there is anything that I can really recommend because everyone has their own taste. So I can only say that just get into it as much as possible and be as receptive towards those materials as possible.
Agreed, agreed. Cool. I think moving from rapid fires, it was quite an interesting rapid fire. So,
It really
uh,
was.
like just some follow up. So, I think in college also, when you started writing out plays and like when you started experimenting,